wind.
A process of elimination.
Here comes the...
This is order.
For a little wait a sec. Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the fortress of...
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing, and due to...
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's hurry up and...
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks.
Let's go ask the Duke. Your Grace?
Ah, good to see you two. Is there something?
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. In fact, it seems it came from the surface. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I've developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater. Besides,
So the fortress is okay?
if you recall our last incident, if there really were a problem, there would be crowds of inmates in a panic right now.
Huh, you've got a point. Okay, seems we need to get back up to the... by the way, do you know what day it is today?
I believe today is this month's
Wait, seriously?
Ah, yes. Have you completed your release papers?
Yep. It's you two. Are you leaving? That's right! Today is our last day in prison. But now that Paimon says that, it doesn't feel like we were confined. Oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of this place now. Then be sure to come back and visit. I'll miss you.
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go. The guards will escort you out.
You're not going to see us off?
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure.
Well, you actually agreed. No worries, you must be busy,
Ah, so you do have a polite side, I see.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companionship. Shall I come along too? Yeah, don't worry, we'll come back to see you. Paimon really likes the cafeteria here. The chef's
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best to stay out of trouble. Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of Mirapede is finished. That's the end of another chapter in our journey. We should probably go report to him now. Next up, the Palais Mermonia. You're going to see Monsieur Nervillette? Please pass on our kind...
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe it would be the
You're right. I've heard the Palais has been terribly busy these days. Tell him that I hope he hasn't been over...
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apologies, Monsieur. Excuse me. Would you mind helping me? I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full here.
Everyone's so busy. Seems a lot has been...
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink...
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well, then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his...
All right. That should wrap things up.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Mirapede. And it appears...
That's right, and we came here to see you...
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something like the primordial sea. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we can only assume that...
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right! Paimon felt it too! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exact. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area...
The water levels rose? Oh no! What about all the people there?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and have already returned to normal now. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the surrounding... I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation once I finish things here.
There's no time to lose. Let's get going.
Please be careful.
Oh no. What happened here? Nadia should be around here, right? We need to make sure she's still... Paimon means we... We haven't seen a single soul all the way here. Oh, this is getting...
What will I ever do now?
Look! There's someone on the roof over there!
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance. All right. I'm not young anymore.
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! My leg! How could this have happened? It hurts!
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You can hold my hand.
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia! Are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so we...
Yes. As you can see, the water level suddenly rose.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety.
He's wounded? How badly?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof.
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor. He should know where to go.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission in the meantime.
All right. You'll be in charge. I'm sorry.
The situation in Poisson?
Right. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the water. The rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were in. The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been a lot of casualties. The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. No one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try our best to help evacuate the resident.
How awful. And all of this just came out of...
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish that everything that just...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this. You don't know how much it means to me. I really can't...
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
I'll be right there. Sorry, I need to go for now.
And out she goes. Seems it might be a while before she can take...
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has just arrived, so... Of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best to rescue others. I'll be... Traveler, Paimon, would you two accompany me to my...
Huh? Right now?
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson, Paimon doesn't think there'd be a ton of people.
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so exhausted.
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver. They won't ever come back here again. What should I do, Papa?
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still... They were helping evacuate the residents, and they were...
What you...
I've known them for so long. I could at least hold a funeral for my father, and I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that...
I can understand. Besides, the scene...
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa.
How could Master ever be upset with you, Demoiselle? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed, is it not? Everyone ends up here sooner or later, no matter who you are.
Buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, Demoiselle.
Hey, stop joking around.
I'm quite serious. That way, it'll save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father's grave.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us could...
Personally, I believe we fill those shoes just fine.
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. All right. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this. I don't usually cry.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better. But
I had always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, that never solely relied on me. Malus and Silver have helped me so much. I'm so sorry.
you can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll
Thank you. Right now, you don't know how much that means. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny, Francine. So, everyone else is sick?
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. We lost Malus and Silver. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Don't think that way, Navia. One person might be saved at the expense of... Malus and Silver were not the price for safety.
You're right. Thank you, Paim. What you said just now was pretty amazing, actually. I'll remember your words.
Oh, really? The knave? What are you doing?
Is everything...
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There's
Thank you very much.
Wait, do you two know each...
We just met recently. Right, Miss Navia?
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even crossed my mind that a Fatui Harbinger would come. Thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed...
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on. I'm sure you understand what
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations. I hear that they've also...
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they are doing good or... As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent... Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not...
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties. I won't forget you.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver. I only wish that my people could have arrived a little...
Don't say that. You and your subordinates did everything... As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves for any specific person. And they weren't the price paid for other salvation. I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to relieve pain by saying some noble-sounding words. But right now, there's nothing...
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Navia. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent...
So, you're one who will try to change fate, then?
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of, and... By the way, traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just... Huh? This isn't...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the fortress of Maripede's sluice gate, and this time it was the water levels in Poisson. Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the House of the Hearth's intelligence. During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. The ruins date back to ancient times. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is becoming more urgent. My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster struck.
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you as such. Even though you aren't, I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their—
Oh, that somehow makes
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family, it's only natural.
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right?
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss N—
But are you sure you're up to exploring some ruins?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But I can't just go back. There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. As my father— Besides, I'm also doing this for myself.
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. What do you say, traveler? All right. The ruins are to the south of Poisson. Here's the—
Okay, the three of us will handle it. Come on, let's pack.
Take it easy.
So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about?
They seem to be pretty ancient.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
Stabilize!
Stand with me! Busted!
Flicker.
strong! Gotcha!
Floor here isn't safe. This place has also been contaminated by...
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment they fell in.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be any help for you. Don't get Paimon wrong. We're not saying you're useless. It's just...
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave this to you. That complicates things. Maybe the...
In that case, do you want to wait for us here?
The water levels here are unstable, and there's a chance the water will rise. I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up ahead.
All right. Come with us for now then, but please be... Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Wait! There's something wrong with this bridge! Run for...
Demoiselle?
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself.
Yes, it would appear.
That's quite possible. However, you were the one that suggested...
Oh, right. I knew... It must have slipped my mind when I... This is a familiar feeling, yet...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. No, I'm fine. I was just trying to recall why we came out.
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with...
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the moment.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Oh? Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't the one they were looking for. Why, I wasn't even the guarantor. They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor opened.
Sometimes force is required to...
That's right. Oh, by the way, Burnett, what was it that you wanted to give to...
Oh, yes. One moment, Miss Navia. These are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have done without your help, so this is a little token of our appreciation.
Ah, did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much.
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs.
Very well.
Wait. Something seems to be off here. Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken, your name is Burnett.
That's right. Is something...
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name seemed familiar to me. I've heard this name before. Sometime recently. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, demoiselle. We still have important things to...
Huh? We do?
Well, now, did you...
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House. Your trial is about...
My trial? Oh.
Yes, she's right, demoiselle. It's just about time now, so...
Oh?
Look, it's Navia! She's here!
And her two attendants are with her! Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly... excited about something. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. What? And as for the judge...
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany.
All right. But are you sure you can stand behind me?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're doing?
Enough with the whispering! Could someone please...
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor. The head... After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates, nearly everyone in the Spina di Rasula fought for the well-being of those in
Wait a moment. Aren't you...
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us.
Huh? What? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my hometown, and I would be willing to be—
Ah, well, if that's what you think, then I have no—
How wonderful, Miss Navia!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now.
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mistress Ronville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing—
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master Callus couldn't stop her.
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. Please do not mistake her actions as being otherwise.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This is the nation of justice, the nation of Hydro! Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Water, except everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. And in the end, everyone shall meld together. Now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. Have you forgotten how much you all once...
Do you mean to defy our...
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. And that...
My head...
Demoiselle,
Silver, it hurts. I remember now. Everything that seemed odd from Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will protect you to the very end.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
She says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent?
What's with these people?
Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss Navia.
Silence!
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from—
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia. Well—
But—
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place.
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this...
Malus. Silver.
Quickly, you must come now.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake? Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the— You were just about to be dissolved within. I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people you saw in your dream.
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right. Perhaps there's some—
Why do you look so stiff all of us? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels awkward when there's nothing to—
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more awkward to call us over like this?
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these days. Her work in the Fortress of Merib—
No way! worry. She's doing fine down there. She's in a...
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewinne would need a lot.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that. He hopes that you haven't been overwhelmed by all that...
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also hope that everything is...
He still doesn't know what to talk about. Let's chat about some... So, Neverlet.
Hmm? Yes,
This isn't going anywhere. Let's try something else. How did you find these?
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat. She and...
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents. We didn't think exploring the room...
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then!
Stabilize!
This way! Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step!
Here you are.
Take it easy.
It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Yeah. You can.
Stand with me!
This is order.
Out of my way!
Here comes the catch. Busted.
I will have order.
Things are about to get dicey. Quietly now.
Flicker.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden space.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here as an offering.
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in
The surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean that Fontaine...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same.
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people around her? Paimon doesn't...
The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly matches the
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping. More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it. Most likely.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette. Deciphering ancient stone slates isn't one of your duties.
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at these slates. This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really hope it doesn't mean that.
Still, Paimon feels like these images are...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the 3rd?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that...
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies.
Did she herself commit that sin? And also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents...
But who would have created these slates of...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from...
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else to be gained.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is. There's some things you just need to be there for yourself.
You still have energy for that, Navia?
Just head back to the Fleuve Cendre and have a rest then.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Rest well. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about the stones. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office. I will share the results of our discussion.
Are you really gonna talk to her about this directly? Will that be a problem?
She has long been harboring secrets and will not give them up easily, which makes it all the more my duty to ensure that she understands the present.
All right, we'll leave it in your hands then. You're probably the best person to talk to her anyway.
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is always open to you, as ever. So, all right. I'll...
Welcome back. We've got a special menu.
Yay! And there's good food too! Navi, no, the boss. Ooh, Paimon's already starting to forget what happened today.
Oh, that voice. Is that who?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll...
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait, you're not a Fontanian, are you?
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname?
Yeah, let's...
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me, there was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now,
it isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames,
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait, are you gonna have to put that in?
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice
as great? That's so petty.
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to
talk about excess.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into it further should you need to study astrology.
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona? You're from Mondstadt.
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dorman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while.
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know you won't be
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know you're not a local, but I'd avoid getting too close to any... There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take part. The invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think any...
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist. Your word would go a long way to make things more...
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns the... I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. But on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely...
A visionary? Sounds really powerful.
Of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those hexens. All right. I'll help you. It isn't often that I see you.
Thanks, Mona. You're amazing as always.
Oh, well, this is something only I can do after all.
That's the greatest of astrologists for you! Of all the people we know!
Indeed, indeed. That's the spirit.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need...
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help, didn't we? Our Fontanian friends will thank us someday. Good morning. To be honest, I'm still feeling. But it's time to get up, traveler. We agreed to go see Neuvillette.
Book learning alone is not enough to...
You're here! Finally!
Is something...
Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina, they seem to have...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent...
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you...
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about... But you found them in some ancient ruins?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 featured different... The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to...
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secrets. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your... You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type. Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the...
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed! Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely... We may have to create a situation in which she will have no...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro...
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we... If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must... This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must... But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world.
That's what family should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time to...
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No,
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as...
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful,
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling...
Oh? How in...
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick and a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette,
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played, though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now...
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our tech.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the...
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the...
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like place...
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would...
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such. But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also...
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides...
So, are we going hunting together?
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted...
Oh, so that's what's going on.
Here you are.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been... Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised. It's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But after all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all. Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea.
Who's that voice?
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky.
The voice from the sky, You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sense... consider me a passerby, just accepting the prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will...
What? Then is there any way we can...
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed? So you've caught up. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of... Are the things that you shall see different from the...
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality.
The voice. Alright, coming! Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Luna!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations.
Did she have pink hair by any...
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I assume you've heard of her, no? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to...
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for...
Yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her, but I've never met her. And if she were still alive, she'd be... well, suffice it to say that the hag...
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live...
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally...
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she...
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. Perhaps it is something that you cannot know. Traveler, Paimon? Are you...
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now.
I see. I feel that same sense. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal. Perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the...
You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking, it was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. But hey, Traveler, Paimon suddenly feels like going outside. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. Huh? Our names are written in this news? Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Guess Charlotte still... Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blinded adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once... So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do do not fear, for the journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet. The Traveler's Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's used... Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos... Paimon's hungry. Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go, Paimon!
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after... Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalet was right.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for...
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, no. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after...
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be delicious. It's more delicious than last time! And the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the...
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even said...
Really?
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a...
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
A friend of ours met you a while back, and when she mentioned it, we thought of coming to see you. Her name's Mona.
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. She's so young and already such a... So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journal.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive...
Yeah, are we even...
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief. Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you...
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be...
Huh, that's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I'm never... If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to be... So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do... Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then this... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as... I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note...
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking... If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would... No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always... You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been... Feels like it'll grow mold, but it's still better than the Fortress of Meropide, that's for sure. It's not only...
So the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a... Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée fan...
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't... Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they...
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also...
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that the Marechaussee Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone, only when things had stabilized.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many people to search for her. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could... Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on.
Is that so? Well, all right then.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson. Huh! Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson? This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. Ah, that's Farina, right over there. She really is here all...
Should I just... What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no... I'm sorry. But what can I even do? Other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over... Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tears...
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my... They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine they're twisted and... Oh, and I'm sure Neuvillette and those people from the Marechaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with... This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What? What is...
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted.
exhausted.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
You're right. Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Novelette's made some emergency.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating I once had informants all over Tevat, searching. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles... Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart, but just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine—
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would— A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the... And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're... It...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve... Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment...
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how utterly...
Lady Farina, what is the...
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be
looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I've been running away for a long... I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of... You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show... I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will... applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastic... Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine!
Woohoo!
Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this—
All right, then. Who will be my
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please... Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee. So, we arranged for a second group to lie.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneus. Was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an...
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel...
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh? Is that so? It's fine. It matters not. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too. Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the... Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use it. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in I didn't think that you'd... This is the first time, Monsieur of the Tui Harbin. According to Monsieur, I nearly... The words of someone as extraordinary...
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the... Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will...
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever see? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will... If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held...
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500...
That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue could... First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble the type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after...
You sensed it too, huh, Nervylette?
Lady Farina is actually a...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a... Besides, Everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house. Oh.
That doesn't sound right. You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the... Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been...
The real Hydro Archon. Well, it is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And you can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their day.
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stay. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Please, you've got...
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. That doesn't sound... That doesn't... That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue can be used as compelling evidence to build our case. It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear now. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your... But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the...
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a...
Miss Siegewin? If you are present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flush. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't...
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon... Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale,
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, to be punished via the death.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the...
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, is this sentence really appropriate for the crime?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of it, but now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't that mean...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to...
Huh? So what do you see? What...
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do...
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've... so when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other three... Stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed OC? The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by many... That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident...
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Ocean. This might be the reason that Fontanian...
That doesn't sound quite right. That doesn't sound...
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalet and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by...
That doesn't sound quite... That doesn't...
It's not as simple as falling. When Navia fell into the sea, the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea.
That doesn't...
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater. If we hadn't dealt with it in time,
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the... The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson, and the eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you... But then it feels like... we're going...
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro... The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Slate. That could also explain why the Oratries judged the Hydro Archon to be...
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it isn't... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well...
Well...
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the... In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating a...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates a key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers...
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. That
doesn't sound...
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be...
The truth, the original sin.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make an appearance. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that it has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordials, and once it has finished consuming all of the energy...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to—
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this, even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive.
That's not... We've already done everything we can, and we even found that we've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some...
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspective, ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide.
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too...
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But...
Fosolo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. The heavenly principle.
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when she knew full well that the prophecy... And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that... One defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principles. I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human body?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and the me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and her strengths were of a kind only a human. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principle. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the opera.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other. I cannot begin to fathom what.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 500, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
Take it easy.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not... Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must at all times... Do Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Flicker.
Game's up. Time's over. Quietly now.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Here comes the catch. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can...
Mirror you, huh? You know what?
Mirror me? What do you...
The prophecy. Have you...
What prophecy? Wait. I know. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain.
Oh.
What's going on? I can't seem...
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster...
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian.
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer some...
Oh, so there's still hope after all. As for the suffering, well, but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? If there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side.
You truly are. I suppose this would also be the just...
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost...
Play as...
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let... If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should...
But how will I do this? A human...
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what... Remember, your true challenge will not be pursued...
I'm still not sure I understand, but... So, how long am I...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, but I promise you, all will...
A trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. But this is my, what should I say, to most appear like a god. To be honest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, in truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions, I thought I might stammer, but thankfully,
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might—
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as you— Calm down, Farina. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That is the character I'm fated to play. Oh, very good, my— Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day— Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. You may consider my previous act a door gift of— Now then, let us be
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an—
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose. Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer— No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hand. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. Oh, so long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as a summary of the
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Besides, none of these trials—
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all—
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance and... Oh, I'm afraid that's just an... All right. Deoteria, is it?
You remembered me, and you knew of my... He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen...
You're such a gentle and wise god.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameter...
I see. It's as I thought, then. As your god, all manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will...
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine...
Really?
I'm afraid that they haven't found any of...
Oh, is that so? Well, no... The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. Maybe this is fine. All right, Farina.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases.
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Farina, I've waited...
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Port...
Understood. Keep monitoring. I don't think I let any... I feel utterly exhausted.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being... I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you...
And what a fine family yours is. What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Really? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Arca...
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined. Have I reached my limit? I want to tell someone, anyone, about I've conducted so many investigations across this. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this, although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more...
share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can just share it with me.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you. And if Tevat is in its entirety, he's right. I could confide in him, couldn't, but if things don't play out as expected, no, Farina, you. But what if, Farina, you've worked so hard for so. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find some. If you let this opportunity slip through your, think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full—
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once it seems that trusting humanity—
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has— I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no—
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard It now seems that that person was you, hidden within—
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so. Alas, your understanding of this device still— In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created— Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take— I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate but really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the vast majority had to be
It was all a part of your plan then? But
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent—
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But—
Oh, what? Getting sad again, The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly prince. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. and the heavenly prince. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And speaking of justice, I have always believed that so, if the theft of the primordial seas might, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans, in other words, existence was Egeria's justice, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live. At this point, we, whether it be myself, Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign,
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was you at last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding. But you are a devious one for things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a few.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have we should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution. Find a way to attack it from within. We shall share a part of the ancient dragon power. We shall look for an opening together.
Solidify!
Get with me!
I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility. Devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Our bond is strong!
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Gather! Gotcha! Out of my way! Game's up. Fun's over.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a
That power. Who are you?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was, less...
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring gnar. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important... All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed...
The point being...
Well, being that this pet almost... So what sort of person is your master? Well...
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, his name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with...
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous.
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom.
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names in title, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Ron.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been... In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be...
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Hurry! Hey, lend a hand! Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
The prophecy was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Spirit Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spirit Rasula, and we spoke about Poisson's present and future. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when your skyship winglet, boon or bane of the Fontaine Ring. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become people always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like...
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. Well, Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your way.
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of new...
Are you sure?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first.
Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the Knave in sending us. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature...
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour.
Huh? You're here too, Clorinde?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel,
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the trap.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then...
How did it go? Was it a good shot, did Paimon?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news. And also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections.
Wow, you really do.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Merip.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nerville.
That's a very complete.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, I told him that it was best not to speak too soon.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have.
Stay safe now. And tell...
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgic...
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come all the way to the entrance to greet us?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom are good.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consent.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. Miss Charlotte, do these pictures...
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr.
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this...
No, I just... This is my first time being
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got... The boat that brought about a miracle. The ark that saved the people. Still, if I might ask...
Huh! Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of...
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or...
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try?
Ah, Sijuin.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you... Sure. Come on, Miss Sijuin. Over this way.
Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but...
Other than that flying ship.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes...
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun.
I'll just... I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger,
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and...
Oh, actually, what about you?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duty. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time. Until... All right, last stop, the docks. Our bond is strong. Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your...
Trick a friend. I wonder what...
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by...
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your...
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in...
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later...
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show eventually.
Lynette, could you come over?
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment. Father says that you did a great deal during the latest...
That's all right. We were more than happy to...
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Nervilette opened negotiations.
A diplomatic gift?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the... Furthermore, Father did also lend
That's true, but this is a no...
I would agree, but I've also heard...
So there's some...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes.
Isn't he real busy and stuff? But back to the topic. The Gnosis was...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by...
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to...
That is our duty as harbingers. Yeah, don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or Switching my masks is something well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision?
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-skid.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pocket. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other district.
Well, guess we sent Charlotte out. Should we go see what Nicolette's doing? Let's go.
Take it easy.
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! So, you really are here, Nicolette! Paimon didn't think you were going to have free time.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meet.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us up. All right, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved?
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste.
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged element. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontaine.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true human.
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Arch.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to As for the judgment passed by the Oratrix, whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalor.
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got it back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans.
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the water...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon still got. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude toward. We guessed that there might be some reason for it.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatu. So regarding this specific issue, I was. In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here. I can finally catch the scent of your power. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons. But with something very similar to I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you speak.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on...
Remains? I've never...
According to your...
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity, but I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you...
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young. And it is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different... Regardless, you should probably get rid of... To live in itself is a blessing. But
what do you mean by...
No need to fret. These are just my...
This third descender you refer to, who are...
Master never mentioned them to... If you're interested, though, I could ask him.
Next time, you...
I do. What?
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the... So that's what the no-seas actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess...
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the no-seas, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance element... I wonder...
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision! That does sort of count as... No, let's not think about this stuff right now. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all. That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his...
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking.
Alright. Whatever the case, it's...
Yes. All of Focalor's effort...
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god. And she suffered through all those years as a...
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds, life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. And what, ultimately, is the difference?